Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into twitch.tv/ice cream uploads. Number one pirate is in the chat. What the hell? Where's he been? I mean, honestly, we've been having to type exclamation mark socials on our own for weeks. He's not been around, but he's here now, so it's all good. It's all good. Magic Man as well. Bib, what does that emote say there that Magic Man's posted?
Hello.
Wait. Did you miss me? I always miss you. That's why I dropped in your stream the other night. I laid there in bed and I saw Number One Pirate was live. I was like, I'm dropping in, sending in pictures of all the food I've been eating over the last couple of weeks. You goddamn right I am. But anyone else in the chat, please feel free to get involved. For those of you that don't know, my name is Graham Day. This man in the Manchester United goalkeeper shirt from Edwin van der Sar's era is the man that we call Baby.
Been hard-working / hardly working.
I just got no words. Well, for the people who are regulars here, will know instantly that this is the Hyde United away shirt from last year, not a Man United shirt. So, come on, Graham.
And the people that are irregular will know that Bibby says that just so that he can hide his true United feelings. That's what it's about. We know.
Lies and deceit.
But for everyone else in the chat, as mentioned, my name is Graham. This is Bibby. We are Ice Creaming in true Ice Creaming fashion. This is The Scoop, the UK's number one video games podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. Welcome. We go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m-ish. Big-ish today, bringing you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. And there's going to be a lot today. We've got 3 streams scheduled for today. We're starting off right now with The Scoop. As mentioned, this is your daily dose of video game news. We then go into a little bit of PUBG. And then later on this evening, we will have a live watch-along for the PlayStation Video Games Reveal live stream, which is why I'm wearing my PlayStation t-shirt. Yay! So yes, a lot of content. But if you are in the chat, as Pirate has done, as Mr. Asim Tanvir, or Tassim Anvir, noted industry leaker, has done, please feel free to get involved in the chat because we turn this into a YouTube video that we put out a little bit later on in the day, and then an audio podcast that goes out on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Everyone listening on demand gets the ability to stop, play, fast forward, rewind, do all of that stuff. Maybe even drop comments if you're watching on YouTube. But nobody gets to speak directly to Mr. Manchester United himself, Bibby. I mean, Hyde United. Sorry, typo again. Verbal typo. But yes, feel free to get involved. Got you on the big screen today. Send me pictures. Tweet it at Ice Cream Uploads and let us know so we can show it on screen and also get some free social promotion, obviously, because that's kind of the other bit as well. But yeah, anyway. So big day for video games today. We've got quite a few stories to jump through. We've tried to keep it to the minimum so we don't spend too long because obviously we want your attention for a lot today. We've got the scoop now, as mentioned. I'm going to jump on, stay on. I'm going to jump into some PUBG afterwards, and then later on this evening we will be doing a live watch-along for the PlayStation 5 games reveal. Have they classed it as an event? Because I was looking at it last night when I was putting the tweet together for our announcement that we're definitely doing it. And I was like, is it an event? So I was looking at their comments, and they've not classed it as an event. They just call it live stream. So yeah,
I don't know. I mean, that's what we're going to call it because we're going to make an event out of absolutely anything to do with video games that anyone wants to give us. So yeah, we'll make an event for it. We'll sponsor it by monetarily. I mean, we'll showcase it and give our thoughts and opinions like we do every single day at 10 a.m. over on twitch.tv/ice cream uploads. But anyway, yeah, we'll call it an event. Fuck them.
Okay then, questions before we get into it. Obviously we have to see how life has been for the last 24 hours or so. Obviously apart from admiring Edwin van der Sar and his reign at United in that shirt, what have you been up to in the last 24 hours, babe, since we last saw you on the scoop?
You're asking me shit. For days I've not been sleeping well. I don't know why. I've been absolutely knackered and not been able to fall asleep. So last night at 8 o'clock, sat there playing on my Switch in the front room, and I said to Samantha, "I'm going in bed." She's gobsmacked at this point because I don't usually go to bed until like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I was just about to go upstairs, and Graham goes, "We need a social asset," and I go, "Do you know what, Graham? Just for you, I'll do a social asset." Finished it, went to bed. I wake up to a text from Graham, call me an old man. No, sorry, old grandma. And then that's the end of it. How I wake up at 8 o'clock this morning, feeling fresh. I'm feeling good. I don't feel tired anymore. I've got rid of my headache. We're all good to go.
Well, I surprisingly play PUBG.
No way.
But, yeah, I know that was kind of it. don't think I went for a bit of a walk. Didn't go for a mega walk because it was crap weather outside, and it's horrendous weather outside here in Manchester today. It's not raining yet, but it's gonna do. The sky is angry. Let's put it that way. I have a big what are they called, conifers? Is that what a Christmas tree is? A mega massive Christmas tree. It's probably the size of the house and a half. It's huge in the garden, and it looks like when you watch those videos where you got like southern states of California, southern states of America have been hit by tornadoes and whatever. It looks like one of those sort of things. There's going to be some woman stood at the end of the garden with a microphone and a camera guy. She gets hit in the face by a fish or something like that. It's been quality video, that, by the way, if anyone's ever seen that. Fresh.
Did you watch Zaffa Cakes' Page United stream last night?
I didn't. I was what was I doing? I finished off season 2 of Ozark, and then Danielle gave me another freshening up of the hair. So yeah, I completely forgot it was on by the time.
Well, I've got an haircut too.
Which one?
Fucking piece of shit. You're in dickhead mode this morning, aren't you? Dickhead activated. Oh shit, we didn't see Pirate subscribed as well.
I did, and I thought I'd mentioned it, but I was gonna mention it, and then you started talking, and I didn't. I kind of ignored it then. But
don't worry, Pirate, I got you back this morning.
I thought I read it out, being hardworking / hardly working. And maybe I didn't. I thought I read that
you
bit.
Just put it in your head.
But yeah, maybe I just said it to myself and then didn't get onto it. But yeah, I mean, story of my life, being hardworking / hardly working. Yeah. Guess who had an early night for once as well? What? Fish? David Fish had an early night?
Yeah. No way. He doesn't go to bed till about, well, the birds start chirping at 5:30 in the morning, he goes to bed. But yeah, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm ready for tonight. That's what I'm ready for. I'm ready for the PlayStation announcement event hosted by ICU on our channel.
You goddamn right.
I'm ready for.
Well, do you know what? If we want to start, one thing we need to do before then, so we're going to go live at around 8:30 tonight, just so that we can start to discuss what might be in it, what might not be in it. But we can start those conversations now, and there's some stuff that's come out over the last 24 hours or so that might influence those conversations. So let's jump into the first bit of news then today. As PS5 games from Rockstar, Konami, Bethesda, and 2K have been listed on Amazon. So the PlayStation 5 console placeholders also have £599 price tags so far. So Amazon has listed several new... Actually, let me jump back 1 second. This is written by Tom Ivan for VGC. Sorry, Tom. Almost forgetting you there. Amazon has listed several new placeholders for PlayStation 5 games from various publishers. And while it's unclear if the listings are authentic, the online retailer currently has placeholders for PS5 games from Konami, 2K, and Koch Media. Placeholders for PS5 games for Rockstar, 2K, Bethesda, and Koch were also reportedly spotted on Amazon before being delisted. It's claimed there are 118 next-gen, so that's PS5 and Xbox Series X, dummy listings on Amazon UK, including 500GB, 1TB, 2TB models for both systems. PS5 1TB and 2TB console placeholders reportedly both have £599 price tags. Interesting there that both the 1TB and the 2TB systems have $599. So Sony Interactive Entertainment announced this week that its delayed PlayStation 5 showcase will take place on Thursday, the June the 11th at 9 p.m. BST, and you can watch it live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. I mean, it says it there in the article. It looks a little bit like a full stop, but that's exactly what it says. It was originally scheduled to be held on June the 4th, but was pushed back in light of ongoing Black Lives Matter protests. The company has recommended those planning to view the Hour Plus event do so using headphones, as there's some cool audio work in the show, which has to be to do with that 3D audio stuff that they were talking about in Cherney's conference. In May, Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida said the company would unveil a compelling lineup of PS5 games in the near future. Prior to the real event's delay, Sony had been advertising the show on US television, raising expectations that it has major announcements lined up for the show. A new patent, likely related to the PS5 system menu, has potentially offered the clearest look yet at the next-gen console's UI, which we covered yesterday. Big thanks to Mr. Asim Tanvir for dropping that in live on the show.
In Mr. Alika.
Goddamn right, he knew before everyone else.
I've got two questions. One I don't actually think we've discussed yet. First one, are we allowed to restream this? Are we just allowed to watch it without showing people, but just our faces like we're doing now with the scoop? So we're being split, and then we can watch it away from everything. Don't know how that's going to work for you, because you'll be streaming it from your PC, so you can't have your audio coming through if that's the case.
If it's on Twitch, then we'll be good to restream it. Potentially, maybe, hopefully, possibly. We will see.
I mean, we're not going to be the only people facing this problem, because I imagine there's a lot of news outlets that are going to be trying to do the same thing. So we'll see from that perspective. But I haven't seen where they're actually going to be streaming it. The only thing that I've ever seen is the PlayStation.com/PS5.
Do you know what? We will confirm that today. I'll reach out to my Sony friends and say we want to restream this. Is that good? I know some of the people in the PlayStation UK social team, so I'll confirm it from them. Either way, if it's one that we want to watch and I have to watch it, I'll just have it so that I'll create a new browser source or something that doesn't kick out audio into the stream, so that I can listen to it without having my audio output going through. So it should be good. But yes, thoughts, Bib. Okay, let me jump into the split screen too, so we can give you a rightful place on screen. Pow. So PS5 potentially has new games from Rockstar, Konami, Bethesda, 2K, probably more, 118 different next-gen dummy listings on Amazon, including 500GB, 1TB, and 2TB models for both systems. That's the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Thoughts?
Well, as I mentioned before, it was two-pronged. First one was about how we're going to watch it. The second thing was, if there was ever an indication that this was going to be a placeholder, it's the fact that all three of the SKUs was going to be listed at the same price. Now, I'm gonna fire a question right back to you. £600. Do you think that's the top tier PlayStation model, or do you reckon that's the entry one?
I feel that's got to be top tier. I did say that I felt the consoles were going to be more expensive. I mean, initially we were kind of saying 500-ish anyway. I was saying it's probably going to hit the 500 mark. Maybe I went. Was it 489, 479? I eventually went
479. I had 379. So there's £100 between us, and I'm way out if it's 600 sheets.
Yeah, I mean, I thought 500. So if 599 is one of those prices, I'd say that's got to be the 2TB. Not that it's a bad amount of money for it. It's if you spend what, £1,100 or whatever it costs for the new iPhone these days, that you have for a year, and yeah, don't get me wrong, you use it every day and it is a powerful piece of kit. And I mean, I'm not bad-mouthing iPhones. I have one, or whatever phone you've got. They're all similar sort of thing. But if that is worth that much, a console that is going to give you those sort of immersive experiences for 7 years is definitely worth that level of money. But the issue is consumers. An iPhone is almost seen, or a mobile phone is almost seen as something that you need to have in your life. A console is still seen as an extravagant purchase. You don't need it. So hitting that 500 price mark is quite a big step. Hitting 600 price mark is huge. So with that in mind, I can easily see, I mean, factoring the SSD technology and the 3D audio stuff that they're putting into it, and all the technology that's gone into the DualSense 5 controllers, and all the stuff we don't even know about the console yet, I can easily see 500 gig consoles being $599. The issue is whether consumers will agree with that, and I'm not sure they will. So yeah, with that in mind, I would say $599 for me would probably be the top end one.
I'm hopefully, if it's not the only ones left in stock. I've just seen Ian's comment there, and I do fully agree with him. If you want a console at launch, it's probably best to pre-order ASAP. You can see a stock shortage at launch. If the world wasn't on its ass at the moment, I would have probably waited until closer to the time. However, hopefully after this conference, because Samantha's been asking me when this console's coming out, because she wants to get it for me. Fantastic wife right there. So towards the end of the year, but we don't obviously know when it's going to be coming out. So I'm going to try and avoid the 500 gigabyte one, because I made that decision this time round.
Yeah.
And the amount of games that I've had to delete constantly to be able to, like, at the moment, what's COD up to? Is it up to like 150 or 160 gigabyte?
So
that's
one
like
third of your hard drive, pretty much.
Yeah, because you have to give away like 25% to the operating system and all the shit that goes along with it. So yeah, it's a 500 gigabyte on a video games console this day and age with live service games is nothing. So I'm gonna try and get the 1 terabyte one if I can, and I have the money, the 2 terabyte one, because I want a library of games, especially ones that I won't be able to get digitally. And if it's a bundle, we can get that downloaded day one. But yeah, I think 379, which I mentioned, would probably be the entry level, i.e., the 500 gig one, and I think that is pushing it. I'll be very surprised if it does, if the 500 gigabyte one does come in at 379. I'm not going to revise my pricing structure because that was my pricing structure way back about 3-4 months ago.
It's
We
probably
talked
longer
about
than
it.
that. I think it was even pre-Christmas, so we're probably about 8 months, 7 months ish back, I think. Or maybe
I think you're bang on the money though. 479 potentially is probably going to be the sweet spot. I don't know whether or not that'll be top tier or entry level. If it's anything, I think it'll be entry level.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like 500 quid for that much technology. There's so much more stuff that you can buy. You buy a Sonos speaker system, which is just speakers. And I said just speakers. Audiophiles around the world are like throwing their pocket calculators and whatever at me. Oh my god! Not, but I mean that's just speaker systems, and they can cost you shitloads. One Bose speaker can cost you 500 quid. So a PlayStation costing 500 quid. It's like I say, in relative terms, it's not that much money, but it's audio files and those levels of speakers. You can buy cheaper versions that do it, so that's almost seen as that's like the Audi, BMW sort of, maybe even up towards Bentleys of speakers. Whereas a PlayStation doesn't have that sort of scale. You've got your main tier consoles, and then stuff, and then super PCs and kind of thing. So you don't really have that leveling. So yeah, people will always be. I say people, parents will be more likely to go, I'm not spending fucking 500 quid on a console. Don't be daft. You've still got a PlayStation to win draw. I mean, I'm from Yorkshire. That's probably a conversation that will be happening many times over the next few months. But yeah, I think 479. It might go up to 499, 500 possibly. I mean, it could hit 600. I think that is where there is a bit of a risk though, because if PlayStation hits 599, and let's say it was announced tonight at 599. It will be announced tomorrow that the Xbox is either 549 or 499. Either way, they'll undercut it, and boom, you're over.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, if someone said to me, 7 years ago, are you going to spend £500 on a console that's going to last you 7 years? Then the easy for a start, I wouldn't believe that my PlayStation would last 7 years. It definitely sounds like it's on its last legs now. I haven't changed the thermal paste or the pads or anything that's on there to try and reduce the sound or anything, because I imagine it probably doesn't work for long. It's just the way that some games are optimized out. And some games are completely silent. Some of them sounds like your PlayStation's about to take off. So it's like people have to put noise gates on the microphone, otherwise you're not going to be able to hear anything.
Yeah, the worst thing is I have I actually, you can see it now because I put it on the desk. This white thing just on the edge here is my big tall tower fan to keep me cool once I'm green screen and everything. But that, I was worried that you'd hear that coming through the microphone. But my microphone is here, just off this side of the screen, and my PS4 Pro is here, so you're never going to hear that because my PS4 is going to be there going, ah! next to it anyway, so don't worry about the fan.
Yeah, so it's just one of these things now. I mean, it's something that we use every single day. I don't want to say I use it as much as as much as my mobile phone. Like you said, your mobile phone is probably the most piece of technology you use pretty much every single minute of every single day, whether that be making calls, texts, or watching videos, watching TikToks, whatever the fuck you do with your mobile phone.
Sending up the ICU stickers in WhatsApp. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, 500 quid. It's
for an up the ICU sticker bargain. Yes, I'll have 2.
Yeah, we'll send you a 3-pack. Yeah, it's just one of them things, and it's worth the investment if that is your primary console. If you play on it every single day, and it's where you go to speak to your mates, or just playing competitions. If you're an esports player and you're fucking playing COD or whatever it is, £500 for 7 years is an absolute bargain.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many other things, unlike your TV, which is probably on well, not 24 hours, but close to 24 hours a day, that you're going to get that amount of use out of.
Yeah, I completely agree. So if anyone's got a calculator in front of them, do 700 divided by 500 divided by 365, just to see if you were to pay your console off over 1 year, like how much it's like. It's something like it's £1 something per day. That's over 1 year, but you've got it over 7 days. So actually, do you know what? Do 365 times 7. Figure out what that number is, and then divide 500 by that, and then that's how much it's going to be. So you can figure out how many pence per day the console's going to cost you. It will be somewhat daft, like, I don't know, probably like 20p or whatever per day you got it. Probably not even that, probably even less than that. But anyway, while someone maybe or maybe doesn't work that out, let's jump back through the chat. You read it out but didn't say anything about it. Yeah, that was it. Bib was talking and I'd started it and then just kind of got sidetracked, and then I thought, fuck it, Sonny Pirate, he's not been here for months, so suck it. Yeah, whatever, mate. I'm only joking. Do appreciate the sub. Do you know? Just because, actually, I say that I was about to hit replaying it, but it's not there in my mini feed. GG, Streamlabs. Oh, well, I can't replay it. So, yes, I'll mimic it for you now. Stay frosty, yeah. There you go. Oh, Pirates just subscribed! Yay! Fish kind of did. He went to bed at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. What? But no, I went to bed about 9-10 p.m. Bibby texted me, and like I text him, and he didn't even it hadn't been seen, so I knew he was like insta asleep. But I was like looking at my time, it's like 9:15. What the hell?
I was fucked. I was genuinely fucked. Like, it's very rare that I'll just be sat there and my eyes will start to close before my normal bedtime. I mean, I feel like I'm going back like 3 or 4 months now, because 8:15 I'll start to get a bit tired, when we're doing the commute to the office and things like that. But at this point in time, I thought my body clock would have switched and I'm still going to bed at 1 o'clock. But yeah, and I just see Madge taking the piss. Apparently, Bibby doesn't know about fridges in his house. You are absolutely right.
Bibby, what?
Because I was talking about things that are running your house for 24 hours a day. And the first thing I thought of was the TV.
Bibby didn't have a freezer either. So yeah.
No, I basically don't. Have you seen the size of my freezer? It's tiny.
Oh, that's us. We've got an integrated kitchen now, which we had like installed like last year kind of thing, which all looks nice. It's all nice gloss. You can't see the dishwasher or the fridge or anything like that, but you can't do anything about the size of the fridge now. It is what it is pretty much, and the fridge is wonderful. This big thing, like, it's not. I wanted an American fridge freezer. We didn't get one of them. Just got a normal like upright one. The fridge is like, yeah, space, wonderful. The freezer, it's like, okay, which stamp do you want to put in the freezer today? So like we used to go shopping and be like, oh, let's get some of those frozen burgers, and let's get these other forms of burgers, and well, look, chicken burgers, yeah, let's get it. And now it's like, okay, you can buy that one, but there's 4 in it, so you have to have 1 now because we've only got space to put 3 in the freezer. It's like, what? So we have to buy a bag of chips. We have to buy the small one, even though it's worse value for money, just because we can't fit it all in. It's First world problems. Anyway, I'll fly back through the comments because we're still quite about. What time in the UK is this? Says Pirate Ian. Thank you very much for the answer as well. That's 9 p.m. tonight, so make sure you jump in. Madge thinks the 599. I actually, it's been a while since we've moved on. I'm assuming Madge thinks the 599 price tag is for the entry level. Interesting. So you think we're going to have an extremely expensive generation? I mean, that's possible. That is possible. I still feel top end. Well, actually, maybe I hope top end. Maybe it's built on hope. I don't know. Well, it definitely is. But
yeah. I'm about to say your wallet's already screaming.
Let's just slap my PS4 Pro.
Well, you got to think of it this way. Like, if you're getting one, does that mean that Chloe's going to have one as well?
No, she can.
So straight off the bat, that's £1,000.
She can have the PS4 Pro now. She's got my.
Down.
Yeah, she's already got that. She's got my Metal Gear Solid PS4. I didn't want to get rid of that, so she got that. I got a PS4 Pro, and then I'll get the PS5. She gets the PS4 Pro, and the Metal Gear Solid can sit on the shelf. Ta-da! Jobs are good.
Well, I mean, she's only going to be playing Fortnite anyway, isn't she? So yeah, it's you can play that on PS5 and 4 anyway, so that's fine.
Exactly. If you want a console at launch, probably best pre-order. Are you covered that one already? Yes. that's good. Good shout. One thing we'll do, no doubt, when we get close to the time, is cover the best places to pre-order or what we find, because obviously we're going to be going through the same thing that you guys are anyway in terms of choosing whether to pre-order, whether to pick it up. I always like to pick it up in person on the day because I know that I'm getting a good deal. And in terms of like I can shop around, I'm not tied into the pre-order, and two, getting it there's no issues with it's been lost in the post, or we thought we were going to send you one, as Amazon's done quite a few times, but it didn't happen, so we'll send it you in 2 weeks. I saw loads of people having that issue with the PS4. However, because of COVID stuff, and yeah, Bib said the world being shit, the amount is going to be so low that I'm feeling like a pre-order might be the thing to do this time to make sure that to have more chance of it arriving. I think I'm going to have more chance of it not turning up, not being able to pick one up in the shops than it not turning up in the post. I think that's the kind of thing. Sure, dropping the big ups and up the ICU. Big up the ICU. There we go. Amazon still has E3 2016 stuff, so I'll take it these as a pinch of salt. Always. Any sort of store listing. I mean, Manchester United had, what was it? Wesley Sneijder's shirt listed on the store for a while. Not on the team website for a while. So if Manchester United can cock up their own sort of stuff, then Amazon cocking up someone else's unannounced stuff is always very possible. So yeah, 100%. Asim echoes that, says it's all placeholder reader. The price of the PS5 and the game listing example, without any disrespect to anyone, people thinking a Silent Hill will launch with PS5. Yeah, temper the expectations. Okay, well, we've got the next article says there's going to be 27 new Silent Hill titles releasing over the next 4. Well, let's just bin that one off. Okay, that's gone. Okay, nice. Yeah, I agree. Would you put PS5 and Xbox Series X into that upper category, or into the upper like console level? Do you mean? When I was saying like they kind of sit in that, I mean, price wise, they're definitely there. The issue with that is they aren't there now because they aren't the norm right now. But the market tends to fluctuate around consoles. Consoles remain static for 7 years-ish. And then the lower level, which could include anything from mobiles to Bibby's RG350 or the Evercade arcades or anything like that, they're all sort of your low-level consoles, but it is kind of differing. Whereas in audiophile versions, you can listen to the same music on low-end systems and high-end systems and mid-range. But on consoles, you can't play the mid-range games on the low-end stuff, so you can't play God of War on an RG350 kind of thing, or so on. So it is a little bit different. But yeah, the new ones will definitely be above where we are, but the market fluctuates, so their position will normalise back to being middle, because then they'll get surpassed by PCs and all the rest. So yes, they will go high level, but then they'll drop down. We have low-level basic consoles. They're shit, but they exist. Facts. Not confusion like the Inside Xbox, where it was like, so is it multiplat or... I hope they make it clear what's exclusive. There we go. I missed that bit. Not confusion like the Inside Xbox. And yeah, I hope they do. And I think they will. I mean, that's the kind of thing we touched on yesterday in terms of they have the benefit of Microsoft's hindsight in saying they will see, okay, what were the key things that Microsoft messed up? We need to nail those, because that's a tit for tat thing. You look at what someone's being criticised for and you do it better and you suddenly look wonderful, and that's it. So you deflect then. Even if you drop the ball on a few things, people are already talking about someone else dropping the ball. So if you fix those stuff, they go, okay, Sony has dropped the ball on this, but they've done all these wonderful things. So that's the benefit of having someone else's hindsight. So yeah, I would be surprised if they don't have clarification on which games are going to be multi-platform, which games are going to be exclusive, and I mean, not that they have Games Pass, but which games are going to be in any form of discounts or launch titles or whatever. I did mine on the PS5, sorted it for about 6 months. Oh, PS4. Oh, okay, there we go. When Call of Duty is being played, it sounds like I'm in a wind tunnel. It's like it's those drop sound effects when you're dropping in on Warzone. It's to give you the full wind effect.
It's just what you can't play games. Like, there's certain games. In fact, I don't even think I play on the PlayStation 4 in the bedroom anymore. Like, if Samantha's asleep behind me and I turn the PlayStation on, not only do you get that massive beep, but as soon as you boot up a game, like, it's gonna wake her up. So it's the PC. And my PlayStation's literally downstairs. So if I want to play on it, I'm not waking her up.
So you turn it on. It's not the beep, and it's not even the noise. It's the fact that you turn around and she's like holding onto the edge of the bed like that, and the blankets are like flying against the wall.
Well, at least it's not like the Xboxes, you know, the special editions one. Like my brother's got the Halo one, so when you press it, it makes like Halo noises and shit like that. And the Call of Duty one from years ago on the Xbox 360, and it makes the night vision goggles.
What, when you turn it on?
Yeah.
What, like that? Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
And there was an R2D2 one as well. When you pressed it, it just beep, 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 beep.
Did not know that even was a thing. That's quality. What do you do, Xbox?
But you can't play that. You can't play that at like 1 o'clock in the morning, can you?
just imagine it though. You're just there in bed and you just see like night visual goggles turning on. You're like, the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'd be a bit of a shock when she actually wakes up, looks at the end of the bed. I've got my night vision goggles on, just walking around the bed.
Hello. You go back to sleep. You're my wife now, Dave. Anyway, Asim says, I've got £1,000 set aside for both consoles. If that's not enough, annoying face. Just imagine a full grand. Like, I'm prepared. I'm prepped for this. I've got a big stack there ready, and it's like, nope, not enough.
Can I have one Xbox and one PS4? Of course you can. That's £2,000.
How much have you got? £1,000, because that's always been more than enough.
You can have one pad.
Asim says, I definitely pre-order, stock might be limited. Yeah, I think that's the case. I think I'm going to do that this time. Madge says, I went round to game to chance my arm for day one PS4. I got the second last available console after 2 hours in the queue. Imagine being 2 hours in the queue and being not second last, but second too late. You'd be...
Oh, God.
I'd be windmilling my way.
There would actually be riots. You'd have to count how many people was in the queue to how much you have in stock, and just say to the people in the queue, look, we've only got this amount. These people were here first. You lot run off and try and find someone elsewhere, because you can't have people queuing up for like 3 hours outside your shop. Then to be the last person behind the next person behind the last person who got one in the queue, you'd be fucking livid, wouldn't you? The shop would be getting set on fire.
You'd have to like have some sort of like wooden spoon of commemoration kind of thing, as in like, unlucky.
I was here for the Xbox, but the PlayStations weren't, or something like that.
Oh, this is amazing. This is Great Day level humour. Magic Man 1977. I'm reading the full name out for the benefit of audio listeners. Magic Man 1977 says, I went round to game to chance my arm for a day one PS4. I got the second last available console after 2 hours in the queue. Asim Tanvir responds with, I guess you could say that was Magic Man.
Oh, God. It's like that fucking tweet that he put. Next slide, please.
I genuinely watched that when do you know when you went off and I said it looked like you came back with a hairbrush before we came live? Yeah. I was chuckling to myself because I'm still getting likes and retweets on it now. So for those of you that don't know what he's on about, where is it? There it is. This tweet that I posted. Credit this is 100% my sense of humour. It's that Boris Johnson sort of. Next slide, please.
Can I have the next slide, please? Can I have the next slide, please?
Oh, that's amazing.
Can I have...
Back in the room. Back in the
so
room.
Good. Okay, composure. We've still got 3 articles to go through.
I know, we've not even finished on the first one yet. The new Cyberpunk one has amazing sounds when you turn it on or eject the disc. A PS4, £1,000. What? A PS4 for £1,000? You've been ripped off, mate. It's possible the pre-orders could be live before or during the presentation tonight. I'm going to keep refreshing Amazon. That's the thing. I mean, I do have... I reached for a pad and paper earlier on. Before we move off of this article, obviously I mentioned we're going to have... going to go live a little bit before, just so we can start to set like predictions or expectations or what we expect to see at least. So do we feel because Sony haven't said anything about the console. Do we feel we're going to see the console? Do we feel we're going to get a price of the console? Or is this purely just going to be games? What's everyone's thoughts on that? I mean, I feel like it kind of seems daft to not have the console, but the fact that they haven't mentioned it yet, I'm not sure.
Is that the big surprise? Well, the amount of leaks that we've seen over the last 8 months, and not one person has mentioned that we could potentially even see the new console in all its glory in the stream tonight, makes me think that we're not, unless Sony have done the unthinkable and managed to keep a secret between 3 people at the company without telling the entire world that this is going to be happening. We know that something's happening, and we're just going to see the games. Based on that information alone, I don't think they're going to be double bluffing us. I don't think we're going to see the console. I think we're just going to see the games.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I instantly think, it's a console reveal. It's a console reveal. But it's just the amount of time. So what are we on now? Start of June. If they're coming out holiday 2020, you've got to feel, from a marketing purpose, they could push that into December. But you've got to feel it's going to come probably not September, maybe not October, probably November. And the reason you say that is you look at the games that are the most marketable in terms of the big industry-leading games that happen according to a calendar release. And the instant one that comes to mind when I mention stuff like that is Call of Duty. It happens every 12 months. It's one of the biggest games in the world. And they usually release the game at the start of November because that gives you your instant purchase window. So people will be like, oh, okay. Also there's nothing usually, or when it first started to take off, there wasn't other things launching in November. So Call of Duty had a bit of a free hit before Christmas. But then they have the opportunity to have the peak 6 weeks-ish later, start to drop the price for Christmas sales so that mums and dads can buy it in time for Christmas to get kids or whatever. So you kind of have to feel, if they're looking at timelines, they want to release mid-November, possibly. I mean, obviously, it's a complete shit show with COVID, so all of this is just speculation and could be completely wrong. So mid-November, if that's where they want to release, where start of June, so 5 months, what are you laughing at?
Madge's comment as oh god, it'll be amazing. Madge says, imagine the scenes if it's just someone reading out a list from an A4 piece of paper for 5 minutes and then the stream just ends.
So our games are
in alphabetical order. That'll be amazing.
And reading the names wrong as well, like Crash Bandicoot, Crashed Bandicoot. Is that? There's a number after it. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Karen, is this pro what? Pro fishing? Okay. Yeah. Pro fishing comes out on July 22nd, 2021.
What's an football? A football pes. A football pes. That's that. Yeah. So yeah, just imagine.
That would be amazing. That'll be incredible. Just get the most socially awkward person to be able to do it. It'll be that would be worth watching.
And we need some more of those fake audience members in front of Mark Cherney again. That from the deep dive into the tech reveal. I think they were there, but it was just the weirdest looking thing in the world. But anyway, Jordan says. Shaw says, actually, let's go back first. I think we'll get a price today. Enix then says, the conference time has changed from 1 hour last week to 2 hours this week, so they added an extra hour. Although it did say an hour-ish, so I instantly took that as, well, I know what ish sounds like, because we use it every weekday at 10 a.m.-ish. So that's an hour and a half, at least. But yeah, the fact that they're saying 2 hours now, I definitely would think they've added something. One other thing as well that I wanted to kind of discuss is, obviously last week's event stream thing was postponed because of the Black Lives Matter movement, but also, is that only it? I mean, I'm not going to say that that's not why they postponed the event, but could there have been something else? Could that have been postponed because they also weren't ready? So not only, like, not trying to devalue them for postponing it for the Black Lives Matter movement at all, but could that have also been convenient for them in another way? Could they have had something else that they'd kind of rushed in? And gone, actually, if we do postpone, not only are we doing some really good shit for stuff that's happening elsewhere in the world, but we also can do some good shit for ourselves in terms of we get a bit more time. So maybe we will see extra content that we wouldn't have seen last week, especially if we're up to 2 hours, and that kind of suggests that too. So yeah, Shaw thinks we'll get a price. Asim says it's pre-taped, so I doubt that they added stuff in a week. The amount of budget though that they will have put into promoting it on TV and so on, it depends on the format of the taping as well. If it's like a solid conference that flows, then that will be quite hard to cut up. If it's something that's more modular in terms of they have separate segments that have branding stingers and stuff, then they could easily put additional bits in there. I know that we've done video editing for content that's to be put out into the world with a couple of days to go, not necessarily a week to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the kind of thing. It all depends on the nature of the content. Could have been split into 2 videos, then just put them together. That's all. As it is just a bunch of videos added together. I mean, do we know that's what it is? Because if it is just a bunch of videos added together, then they could have just thrown more stuff in. They may have struck a deal with another brand or something since then. Excuse me.
I've just seen Asim's comment. He was asking where they said.
We've lost him.
I don't know whether
he's back again.
Sorry.
Did
you say something?
Yeah, you. My connection's only at like 20 meg for some reason, so we keep occasionally losing you. So you started and then just froze again. So start that again then.
The only thing that I've seen from the articles that I've read is like there's a small snippet in this that says the company has recommended those planning to view the Hour Plus event if do so with using earphones. That's the only thing I've seen. I've not seen that they've tacked on another hour anywhere else, and I've read 3 or 4 different articles on this morning.
Asim says possible. The wording is all games. Console-wise, possible might drop the showing it and price. Let's see. John says the event on PlayStation said an hour, so they've added an hour into the event. PS4 event on the console. Previous event was 45 minutes, so they can do 15 minutes intervals. Okay, so no official announcement. Okay.
If anyone's got anything to hand that says that it's going to be a little bit longer than an hour, or they've tacked on another hour, just drop it into the chat and we'll bring it up. That's not a problem. Obviously, we want to try and get as much accurate as we can, and we can only look at what we've got in front of us. So if anyone else has seen anything different, let us know and we can talk about it.
I reckon there will be. I'd be surprised if it's not Mark Cherney, but also not surprised. I would expect it to be Mark Cherney, but I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't. When I'm talking about like the bit that you just mentioned, then the 3D, the audio stuff, the fact that they're saying to watch it with headphones, I imagine that has to do with the 3D audio. And I did touch on this last week or the week before. For those of you that missed it, in the PlayStation Deep Dive conference, about halfway through, Mark Cheney started to talk about how a lot of games have improved visual fidelity, and not games, consoles and things. So you've seen the likes of 1080p increase to 4K, to 8K potentially. You've seen 30 frames to 60 frames to 120 frames and so on. He says, so you've seen all of that stuff, and then the fidelity within that, in terms of the ray tracing and so on, all that's improving. But audio hasn't really improved since the PS3 era. That was Mark Cherney's sort of angle. So they're trying to improve that this year. And that's where they were talking about, they created 3D digital maps of ears. So they basically scanned shitloads of ears, worked out how to kind of generalize those into 7, I think it was, different profiles of ears, and then they would then kind of like, you choose which profile sounds best to you. So you'd sit there with your headset on and you'd play like a test noise or whatever, and you'd have 7 different profiles. It probably wouldn't be incredibly different, but just enough to tweak the audio. So the shape of your ear canal, the shape of your inner ear, the shape of your outer ear, how that all filters the audio and it bounces around and reverberates, create the sound in your ear, will be different. So what sound is to you, obviously, will be different to someone else because they have completely different physiological makeup kind of thing. So yeah, with that in mind, I imagine we're going to have some bits where we sat there and they're going to go, this is what it sounds like with profile number 1. This is what it sounds like with profile number 2. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe they won't go to that level because that's a bit naff. Maybe they'll just do like a couple of differences from one end of the spectrum to the other. But the fact that they've mentioned that and done that, it kind of seems like no one else has spoken about audio to that level that Mariccioni went to. So I think that's the only thing I've got to go off. So I would expect something along those lines as well. Link from Asim in the chat says, let's have a look.
Yeah, I've just had a look through that. It doesn't say how long it's going to be, but the main thing that I want to take from it is at the very bottom. It says, "Please join us on Twitch or YouTube on June the 11th." So we're clear. We're good.
Let's go.
Thank you for that, Asim.
Okay. This digital showcase will run for a bit more than an hour. Yeah, that was kind of the same sort of wording from the last week's one.
Yeah.
Wildest guesses.
I can't see anywhere that's sorry.
I was just gonna jump into Madge's comment. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say, yeah, there's nothing here. I can't find anything. I've just done a quick Google search and on Twitter as well to say that they're gonna have another hour tacked on. So I would just assume, like what the article says, that it's just gonna be an hour, a little bit over an hour. Not sure there's much else. But again, if you see anything, then just at us on Twitter at Ice Cream Uploads, so we can plan accordingly.
Jordan's saying, was just an observation, the official PlayStation event on the console was 1 hour and 15. Now it's been moved to 2 hours for this event. That could just be something as simple as whoever was putting it on the system last week will have put 1 hour 15 because it said an hour and a bit or whatever it was for a bit more than an hour. Whoever's done it this week's probably just gone 2 hours, whatever, it's fine. So that could mean something. Or it could just be irrelevant as well. So I mean, either way, it'll start at 9. If we're still here at 11, then you know it's lasted 2 hours. Yes. But I think actually, before we did move forward, so we've got predictions. Some people saying price. So like Shogun thinks we're going to get a price. Asim said that we might have hardware drop at the end, which I think is possible. Bib, did you say you don't think we'll get hardware in this one?
No, I don't think we will. I don't think we'll get to see the console.
I mean, nothing good for it, just so that we know if you guys are all in the stream later on, we can see what we kind of thought and how that kind of hardware yes equals Asim question mark. I'll put Graham yes. Hardware no equals Bib. So who thinks we will or won't get hardware tonight? Just so that I keep scrolling back up. Wildest guesses for games, says Magic Man as well. I would like to see something like a Spider-Man or a God of War. But as we kind of discussed the other day, I think we're more likely, if we're going to see something big first party-ish, I think we're more likely to see a Horizon Zero Dawn than something like that. Magic Man says.
I've just dropped a link in the chat. Speaking of, as Madge just said then about the games, someone's just posted what they've seen from PlayStation reveal event. What they've seen from PlayStation reveal events for the last couple of for the PlayStation 2, 3, and 4, the games that they actually showcased. And again, there's some of these games I completely forgot about that they actually announced with, and there is some absolute bangers in here.
So, PS4 announced with Deep Down, Destiny, Diablo 3, Drive Club, Infamous Second Son, Killzone Shadowfall, Knack, Little Big Planet, The Witness, and Watch Dogs. PS3, Devil May Cry 4, Identify, 5th Phantom Saga, Formula 1, GT5 Prologue, Heavenly Sword, Killing Day, Killzone 2, Metal Gear Solid 4, Mobile Suit Gundam, MotorStorm Neo, Red Dead Redemption, Resistance Fall of Man, Tekken 6, and Warhawk. And then the PS2, A-Train Dark Cloud, Air Guys 2, Eternal Ring, Gran Turismo 2000, Kessen, Popolo Croix, I don't know, 3, Tekken Tag Tournament, and The Bouncer. So we had Tekken and Gran Turismo on PS2. We had Tekken.
The Bouncer, mate, The Bouncer. Come on.
Did I not raise that one? Okay.
Yeah, you I just want to clarify. The Bouncer was a great game.
I've never played it, but I'm just looking at patterns. Tekken Tag and Gran Turismo 2000 PS2, Tekken 6, Gran Turismo 5 on PS3. No Tekken on PS4. No Gran Turismo. Have they dropped that, or do we expect to see a Gran Turismo on PS5? with that, I mean, you're looking at the spread. There is a drive club there, so we've had some form of racing game. So
Great game.
So if it might be best to break it down by genres then, like some sort of shooter, some sort of family game, some sort of racing game, some sort of open world game. So open world-ish, Infamous Second Son, racing game, Drive Club, family games, Little Big Planet, Watch Dogs are probably open worldish as well. Shooters, Killzone, Shadowfall. So say back a generation, open world, Red Dead Redemption, racing game, Gran Turismo. So I think if we don't see that sort of mix of, I'm going to write those down. Racer, I'll put open world there, even though that's a bit get out of jail free because that could be anything. So Racer, open world, FPS, and family. If we don't see at least one game from each of those genres, then I think yeah, I'd be surprised. Drive Club was a fiasco with its massive delayed free launch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It was a fantastic game when we eventually got to play it. It was a fantastic game. Visually, it was stunning. It was one of the best. It was one of the best looking racing games I've probably ever seen, even back in 2015, I think, when it ended up coming out. Fantastic game, and the servers only recently got shut down, so it was clearly still popular. I would love to see a new SOCOM or SOCOM. It's been away around the world and not in Manchester. Fantastic game. I would love to be able to have it was way ahead of its time on the PlayStation 2 when that came out, and you had to plug the headset in to talk to your teammates. It was brilliant. I'd love to see another one of them. I don't know whether or not this day and age it would be received as well as it did back then, because it was way ahead of its time. I think it would just probably get lost in all the rest of the military shooters that we've got out in the wild at the moment. But yeah, the new SOCOM would be amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with the getting lost, it'll need to do something special to improve on that one. Sony need multiplayer exclusives. Microsoft dominates on that front. In what sense? In terms of, I mean, Microsoft has multiplayer exclusives, but they don't necessarily dominate the market, do they? So Halo. Would you? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't play Xbox enough. Would this is an open question. Would everyone see Microsoft's multiplayers? So from that, I'm expecting Halo. Would any and Sea of Thieves possibly? Would anyone see those as rivaling the top multiplayer games out there? The ones that are not console specific, so the likes of Call of Duty and the likes of Battlefield and the likes of whatever. Bunch of fucking poop dicks in the house. Nice! Thanks, mate.
When it comes down to, I mean, PlayStation do well at making single player experiences, and that's where they thrive. And would they be interested in going into the multiplayer aspect? I imagine they would be looking at that, but when you're outselling Microsoft hands down with all of the first-party exclusives that you're bringing out for storage, single-player experiences, which I am more than happy with because the way we seem to have gone through a massive drought of good single-player experiences. Having them come out and absolutely killing it, that would be the way that I would like to see Sony go with their first-party games. Why would they need to pander to a crowd where potentially may not do as well as they are doing with the single player experiences? We've seen an influx of multiplayer games dominate everything. It doesn't matter what, if a single player game was good, they had to tag on a multiplayer bit on the end just to pander to that crowd. I'd rather them not do that. I'd rather them just spend all of the time working on a first party game that would be amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, like Last of Us, they've not bothered with the multiplayer element for this time because that's not what it was about. Even though it was popular in the first one, I didn't play it, and I'm as big a Last of Us fan as anybody. So yeah, I agree. I mean, so Microsoft dominates on that front. That's probably your Xbox fanboyism with the wording. Microsoft does have more multiplayer exclusives potentially. I mean, I don't know. I'm just taking your word for it there. But I wouldn't say that they'd have as big an impact as Sony's exclusives. And like Bib says, there are games out there doing the multiplayer side of things. No, it's just everyone's a Sony fanboy. No, it's only because there's so many Sony fans versus Xbox fans. That's what it is. That's why it seems like everyone's a fanboy.
It's all down to your personal taste. So, like, I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, I'm a social multiplayer gamer. I don't compete in any esports events. I'll play 10v10 in PES. That's about as far as it goes. I am a person that would like to buy a game and then experience it as a single player game. If that's what it means by just buying Sony consoles and playing Sony games, so be it. That's my option. That's what I want to do. I want to play games that I have experiences. I want cinematic experiences sat in my front room playing games. I don't want to spend all of my time playing multiplayer games because I'm just not good at multiplayer games. Like I can play PES and I can play it socially. I can never play it competitively.
I like.
Ever. Like
I liked.
my biggest competitive run was PES 2010, and I think it lasted 3 months, if that, playing on PES rankings. That's just my taste. I'd rather play single player games. Unfortunately, Xbox shit the bed with that. They don't have fantastic first party Xbox games. So if that's where my experiences lie, you can pretty much guarantee the only reason I have an Xbox in my house is because I took it from my desk in work. I would never buy an Xbox because they don't have the games I want to play. That's the long and short of it. It's not a fanboyism. If those Xbox games come out in Xbox Game Pass and I can play them on my PC, so be it. I'll sign up to Games Pass. But there is no way that I'm spending £400 on a console just to play third-party games because your first-party games suck. That's it. There is no fanboyism there. There's no if a console has games that I want to play, I still play on my PlayStation 2 and my GameCube. Why is that? Because I still like playing the storylines that the games have way back then.
Yeah.
It's not me choosing sides. It's me choosing what I want to play on consoles that give me the games that I want to play. I don't have allegiances to a particular console. I have allegiance to games. Like I would always choose Pro Evo over FIFA, but I can play both of those on whatever console that I want to, including my PC. I don't see that being me choosing sides. Just give me what I want and I will support that. Yeah, it's not a difficult aspect to learn.
I think my issue was the use of the word dominating, because Microsoft has dominated on a lot of things in terms of their social messaging, and I'm not going to go through the list of stuff that includes Game Pass and whatever again, because we do it every time we talk about how well Microsoft are doing. But to say they're dominating on a multiplayer front, they aren't. Just because they're making more multiplayer games than Sony doesn't mean they're dominating, because if Sea of Thieves and Halo were dominating, then they'd be at the top of the most played or the most streamed or the most viewed games out there. And multiplayer games that are doing that are the likes of PUBG and are the likes of Warzone and are the likes of, obviously, they're Battle Royale games, but there are other multiplayer games that are dominating. So, yeah, I'd see that's where I take the issue with it. I would like to see Sony do more multiplayer games, only because I would like to see Sony do more games, just because they're good at it, so that's it. So, yeah, whether they're dominating it or whether they're not dominating it, that's irrelevant. You're only as good as your last success. So, yes, you might dominate, but then if you've gone a shit run, you're not dominating anymore. It doesn't matter if you did dominate or whatever. Or you could dominate, like Bib said, you could...
That's it.
What's that?
You're only as good as the last big title that you brought out.
Exactly. So... yeah, and not only that, like Bibi said, you're only as good as the last big title that someone played. So perception is all down to subjective emotion, feelings, and so on. So absolutely love The Last of Us. Bibi hates it. It's a piece of shit, and he's never going to play that crap anymore because fuck that shit. That's not true. I'm just putting words in his mouth there for the sake of narrative, by the way. So that could be the best game in the world. If it's crap for Bibi, then it's irrelevant. So yeah, doesn't matter how good your games are or whether they fall into genres or categories or whatever. It's about personal perception in that sort of sense.
You could say the same for absolutely everything, though. Like me personally, I've always been an Adidas trainers guy. There is some Nike trainers that I like, or Under Armour trainers that I like, but I will always buy Adidas because, one, I think they look nice, and two, they're comfy as shit. If I wanted to buy Nike ones, I would like have a look around and see which ones I liked, and if that suited my needs at the time and they was comfortable and I like the look of them, I would have absolutely no problem in switching to Nike. It's just the way it is. Like, you have a preference on something, but you're only as good as what you want to buy and if it suits you. I would never blindly follow something, apart from my football team, who, bear in mind, was fucking shit until we got taken over.
He's talking about his Manchester United shirt. That's his Edwin van der Sar.
Same with United until it became a fan-run club who was fucking toilet. But still, it's just one of them things. You either have blind allegiances or you're open-minded. And I personally think that I'm open-minded when it comes to video games. I will play what I deem will make me happy. It's as simple as that. Why would I want to play a game that fucking I hate? Like, I would never just buy a game because I hate it. just because it's on a console that I play on. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm very cautious when it comes to spending £50 on games. It's just one of them things.
Should
I don't know.
tell you what else is one of those things. Pirate saying, "I love to play Bibby on PES rankings." Hashtag easy.
Oh, mate, you'd have whipped my ass. Like, I got through to the finals of a couple of tournaments. I'm fairly certain. Well, I did win a Saw box set because I must have just played the noobest of noobs that weekend. But yeah, I'm. You know as well as I do that I'm fucking terrible. I mean, I was the Ice Cream Uploads champion at one point because I absolutely wiped the floor with everyone that was available to me. But yeah, it's just one of the things. As him said, I preferred the PS2 to the Xbox, but I had both. I preferred the 360 to PS3, but I had both. I prefer the PS4 to Xbox One, but I have both. If I was to choose a console that I still play on more than anything now, it would be my PS2. I showed you my games collection yesterday. PS2. I have more PS2 games than I have for any other console ever. And that's because, for me, it was the best console. It had the best games. It had the most variety of games for a start. It just suited my needs, and I still play that probably once or twice every 2 days. Like, it's just what I want to play. It's not because I want to blindly follow a particular console. And I don't care if that's not fanboyism in my eyes. Buying games for a console just to suit the Microsoft narrative or the Sony narrative, that would be a fanboyism. Just playing the games that you want to play in the places that you're available to play them. That's what games were made for, not just to be flying a particular flag for a particular brand. Why would you want to do that? Because you're robbing yourself of good experiences.
I agree. I mean, I like I say, I do stand more in the place that Bibby for Games Industry President says that's him. Here, Bibby, says Big Zombie Monkey. Well said, Bibby said that's him as well. Yeah, I agree. Like I say, I'm more of a PlayStation user and have been through my history because that's where games for me have been. That said, some of the most prominent video game memories I have are on Xbox consoles. So I played I played on PS2. I didn't play on the Xbox original. I played Xbox 360 first because it came out first and it had a better proposition for a long time, and then played on the PS3. I have some good memories for the PS3, but I played Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, and all of that sort of genre of FPS games and stuff on the Xbox 360. So that probably wins out that generation for me. By the end of it, the PS3 was phenomenal, the amount of games, and being able to play things like Metal Gear Solid 4 and so on. But yeah, that probably... Overall, I probably have to give that generation to the Xbox 360. I was talking, I think, to Jordan on stream or just at the end of the stream the other day about gamer scores and stuff. Like, you used to get 1,000 gamer score for games. You still do, which I only know from Jordan telling me the other day. But playing Fight Night Round 3, which is a game I absolutely loved. It's probably my favourite boxing game that I've ever played. And that was another one that I played on the Xbox 360. And these games that still kind of resonate with me. The Xbox 360 came at a big point in my life, so I'd have to go generation-wise: PS2, Xbox 360, PS4. So yeah, we'll see where we are with PS5 and Xbox One X. I mean, I will Series X. I will get both, no doubt. But I'm gonna get one to begin with and then move from that. And tonight could help in that process. But yeah. Anyway, let's move forward since we spent over an hour on the first news article of 4.
Well, I mean, it's probably the biggest one of the year, isn't it, at this moment in time? So
yeah, I mean, if you do want to continue this conversation on PS5, whether you want to have that conversation as a PS5 versus Series X, or you just want to talk about the games, I mean, all opinions and all angles are welcome. We won't necessarily agree with them, but that's the point. You're allowed your opinions. But if you want to continue that conversation, we will be live with more on that during the PS5 games reveal live stream tonight. That starts at 9. We'll go live at 8:30 UK time, so feel free to drop in. But yeah, jumping back, John says, I'm trying to get the plat now for Neo, just need to finish it off, and I spent 9 hours on one boss. My hair's falling out. If that was no, that'd be in the bin for me. That's too much of a grind. Like I was saying, there's only one game that I've platinumed, and it's pure cliche for me. It's PUBG, but I only platinumed it because the challenges were challenges that you will tick off just from playing it, and I only realised I had like 2 missions left to do. One of them was like, I can't remember, it's something generic like get kills something or other, and the final one was kill people whilst you're in a vehicle, which most people would do on PC space, but to shoot someone in a moving vehicle on PUBG on a console using a controller was difficult. So I had a bit of a grind at that, but only because it was the last one, and I was like, oh, I can platinum this, it can be my first one. So the first and only game I've ever platinumed on a PlayStation is PUBG, because it's too much of a grind for me. But anyway, that's going off topic. When it comes down to consoles, for me, to paraphrase Armageddon, Xbox component, Sony components, they're all made in Taiwan. Yeah, the sentiment, it doesn't matter. They're all the same thing. They're all the same thing. But anyway, next bit of news. Talking about new games, well, let's go in a different angle, and one that David might remember. From back in day, 80s Sega platformer Alex Kidd is making a comeback with Miracle World DX. And that's not his Generation X for all you WWE fans there. Long-abandoned Sega mascot Alex Kidd is getting a fresh shot at his first Master System adventure. Alex Kidd is the Obi-Wan Kenobi of Sega characters, the kind of mostly forgotten series that will inspire Sega diehards to mutter, now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. But he's back, and despite not going on a 2D platformer adventure since 1990, Alex's knees look like they still work just fine. Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX is a remake of the first Alex Kidd game released on the Master System in 1986. The trailer above shows off a pretty cute pixel art makeover, as well as a retro mode that looks to preserve the original's much more limited graphics. It overall looks like a simpler remake than the lusciously hand-drawn Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap from a few years back. But even in the 1-minute trailer above, I'm seriously digging the music. Check out IGN Summer of Game Streaming for more not quite E3 announcements. So, just going to hit play on this whilst we chat. Do you know what? Some people might not be bothered about this. Some people might be hyped about this or whatever. I mean, I definitely fall into the latter category, because if you haven't heard of Alex Kidd in Miracle World that you've just seen there on the graphic in the helicopter, that's what it kind of looked like. This is what it looks like now. Alex Kidd was a pre-installed game. So if you bought a Sega Master System, you would have Alex Kidd in Miracle World installed on the game. And you were Alex Kidd, and you essentially going through the world. You've got access to bikes, you've got access to helicopters, you can have boss fights, which plays rock, paper, scissors, and so on. It was, it was ridiculous. Is that the same person again, or is that just what? It is as well. It's the same person. Get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, he waited for the 600 seconds and then typed it again. So guess what? Bye.
Weapon. So anyway, long story short, this game I absolutely loved. I never completed it, and it was only when I was chatting on social. I tweeted about it last night, and I think it was Rich Lee responded basically saying that his brother completed it. And I realised I don't think I ever completed it. It was a big thing in my house though. There was me, my cousins, I think David may have been playing it as well, my uncles, and my nana would sit there. She wouldn't play, but she'd sit and watch. And we had this Sega Master System in the living room in my nana's house, and we'd all kind of like play the game. And as you got to the first like stone, paper, scissors like boss battle, one of your family members would like chip in and go, yeah, this one is stone first and then scissors afterwards. And then boom, that's it. You do it. You're on to the next levels and you get to the next boss battle, which is stone, paper, scissors. And it's like, okay, this one is scissors and then scissors again or whatever. And like people would kind of go, oh, Graham's just on that bit. Oh, he's got to that bit. But then as you started to get further and further on into the game, my family were just kind of like looking a little bit more, and then suddenly like relatives that you've not seen for months just start to walk into the living room and pull up a seat because you got into another new part of the game. And then it's when you get to the boss battle though, and you're like, oh, you've only got like 3 lives or whatever. Oh, we've not been here before. What do we go for? So whatever you go for, whether you get it right or wrong, it's a learning process. There's someone there making mental notes of if you go stone and it's scissors, okay, well he's going to go scissors first, so we know that one. Bosh. But I could never get past the frog-looking boss. I can't remember that one. I have lost a lot of memory, a lot of detail from the memories. I remember more of the sentiment and the emotion behind it in terms of the details. But yeah, so all of that, realizing that we spent fecking hours. I mean, I was only, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 maybe. So I wasn't like dexterous enough to be good at video games, so I didn't ever finish it. But now seeing that trailer, seeing that game, I'm quite hyped for it. So I'm looking forward to playing it again. Hopefully one day I may even finish Alex Kidd Miracle World. Did you ever play Alex Kidd?
I did, and the reason I actually bought one of the many reasons is because it's got Alex the Kid on it, and Samantha absolutely adores this. As soon as I was finding news articles and I seen this morning, I sent it her, and I thought she was going to shit herself with excitement. She absolutely loves Alex the Kid, so when it came down, she was like, "What consoles are coming out? When can I play it?" And I was like, "It's available and everything." So she went, "Everything that you've got?" And I was like, "Yeah, you can play it on anything that I've got." And she's like, buzzing. No worries.
Pirate says, Have you seen you got new fans, baby? Have you seen you got new fans?
Oh yeah, tweet. Oh my god, you got two of them. Are those bearded dragons? Because again, those are like
Oh, okay.
Samantha's brother-in-law has some, and they look very similar. Like I'm not up to date with what animals look like. Like I have no idea, but they look like bearded dragons. I'm gonna go with that.
I was like, in my head, because it's been mentioned a couple of times over the past few days, all I had in my head when I was reading that was the Wheelstone Raider. You got shit fans! So I was like, what? What? But yes, there we go. This is what Pirate is referring to. We've got new fans. Hey. But, do you know what? I would like to stick on that for a little while longer. What we have to do, though, is move forward. So, Alex Kidd, thank you very much for gracing us because, yeah, we love to see you, but we have to move on. We spent shitloads of time on the PS5 stuff, so which means we have to fly through the bits that we have left. So this article written by GameCentral for Metro says that Battlefield 6 is set in modern day. Yeah! Current gen versions are feature limited. So the next Battlefield will see a major difference between next gen and current gen versions thanks to a sizable technology difference. The next few weeks are hopefully going to see a huge wave of new games announced, both those that have been rumoured for a long while and brand new titles never previously guessed at. But one game that probably won't be featured is Battlefield 6 since it's not due out until late next year, although that hasn't stopped the rumours anyway. You don't need any insider info to assume that the new game will be set in the modern day, as that seems the obvious setting after two games set during the two world wars, but that's what leaker Tom Henderson is claiming anyway. Different versions are required because of the technology. I'll come back to that in a second. I'll leave the embedded bits because I usually end up reading over them again within the article. So interestingly, he doesn't make any reference to the other assumption that the game will be a sequel or reboot in the Bad Company sub-series, but he does claim that although Battlefield 6 will be cross-gen, it will be feature limited on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Whether that means whole modes will be missing from the current gen versions or just a graphical downgrade is unknown, but apparently only a small amount of people are working on that version. Normally, cross-gen versions of the same game are more or less the same until franchises go next-gen a year or two after the new console's launch, but this implies a more significant power difference between the two sets of consoles, perhaps as a result of the new console's SSDs. Henderson has proven accurate in the past, especially about last year's Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and his Twitter comments have been backed up by VentureBeat journalist Jeff Grubb on forum Reset Era. It's still possible Battlefield 6 could be unveiled this month or next, possibly at the EA Play event on the 18th of June, but more likely we'll only get official confirmation of what's going on with it late this year at the earliest. Bad fucking time. Like first-person shooter games, I'm not asked about using iron sights in the trenches in World War II. I've the same way that I'm not asked about playing racing games that don't give me anything new. I've played racing games and I've had that experience. So don't get me wrong, this is my subjective. You are more than welcome to completely disagree with this. I've done that. I've been there. I've done that. I've seen it. I've read it in history, and it kind of is all history for me now. I don't want to see iron sights in World War II bunkers or World War I trenches or whatever. I also don't want to see like exosuits running around in space and stuff like that. I want boots on the ground modern day stuff. It's cliche, but I'm not the only one. But it's nice to see Battlefield 6 getting back to that point. And Spike says, "Thank Fook!" Battlefield 3 and 4, I played competitive and loved them. When they went back in time, it ruined it for me. Yeah, I mean, I get. I mean, this. I'm not the only opinion in the room. I know that completely. There's loads of people that are obsessed with that World War sort of era. Anything from the early 1900s to 1940s kind of thing at the end of the Second World War. Loads of people love that sort of man versus man, no technology. It's kind of like I get where the romanticism for it comes from, but it just gets lost on me completely. I would much rather have something present day. So Battlefield 6 going there, yeah, I'm all for that. If Battlefield do that in a bad company setting, yeah, absolutely all for that too. Obviously, we don't know which way it's going. This is just a rumor, and if it's not coming out until the end of next year, take it with a pinch because it might not be true, or it could change drastically before we get there. But Battlefield 6 potentially next year, potentially a modern day game, and potentially we'll have Big Zombie Monkey and me playing because those are the facts. And then finally, from one game ending with a numerical number of 6 to another. Far Cry 6 revealed date due next month, not set in North America, claims source. Once again, written by GameCentral for Metro. They're on it with their leaks today. Ubisoft are allegedly planning to announce the next Far Cry game at their E3-style event in July, which may feature the return of Vaas. I'm assuming that's the guy in the image above. Far Cry, is Vaas about to make a comeback? Yes, it is. If it wasn't for the coronavirus, E3 would have started today in LA. This is obviously an article from Tuesday, and we would have already seen the showcases from the likes of Microsoft, EA, and Ubisoft, but it didn't happen. And ironically, the only event that is scheduled for this week is from Sony, who were never going to be at E3 in the first place. Ubisoft does have an equivalent digital event, but Ubisoft Forward is not due to take place until the 12th of July. They always put on a good show at E3 with lots of new announcements, but it seems one of the major ones for this year has already been leaked. Far Cry 6. Admittedly, that's not much of a shocker though, especially as Ubisoft already said they have 5 AAA games planned for release before April 2021, and early spring is when a number of Far Cry games have been released in the past. According to German website Game Reactor, Far Cry 6 will please note that didn't like... My God, I can't read this. According to the German website Game Reactor, Far Cry 6 will please note that that didn't... My God. Does that make sense, or am I just being... Am I daft?
Right, so, one sec. Far Cry 6 will please those that didn't like Far Cry 5's US setting. Please
don't... Do you know what? I'm absolute weaponage. I was reading those as notes. There we go. My God. Just... I was sat there thinking...
I had to reread it in my head thinking, what is going on with him? Like, is he okay?
I'm sat there thinking, like, it's like you're a computer and you hit a script and then you full on blue screen. So according to German website Game Reactor, Far Cry 6 will... Anyway, according to German website Game Reactor, Far Cry 6 will please those that didn't like Far Cry 5's US setting, implying it will not be set in North America. Previous entries have been set in Central Africa, the Himalayas, and an island paradise in the Pacific Ocean, and it's implied the new game will follow more in that tradition. It's not surprising to find that the new game will not continue the storyline from Far Cry 5 and New Dawn, as while the former was very successful, New Dawn was not. And while it wasn't a numbered sequel, Ubisoft implied they would be giving the franchise a rethink before the next one. The only rumour prior to this was a hint from voice actor Michael Mando that his character Vaas from Far Cry 3 would be making a return very soon. That may imply some kind of prequel, although it should be noted that voice actors are a notoriously poor source for accurate news and often seem to get the wrong idea about upcoming games. The other 4 games Ubisoft has planned before April are Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Except perhaps for Watch Dogs, we know very little about any of those, so the Ubisoft Forward event should have plenty to talk about next month. To be fair, I mean, that on its own, let's say Far Cry 6, Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ubisoft aren't backwards at coming forwards with new stuff, so fair play to them. But I'm clearly backwards at coming forwards with words, as we just seen through that there. I think Gray needs a soft reboot as Daniel tried turning him off and on again. I'd appreciate if we stop asking whether my wife's tried to turn me on in the stream. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Yep.
I welcome this. Far Cry 3 was a fantastic game. And it was actually a game that I wanted to go back and play for. I've got Far Cry 2, 3, and 4. I haven't picked up 5 yet. I don't know why, because I absolutely love the Far Cry series. Not Primal, though. Primal was... It wasn't for me, Jeff. But yeah, the rest of them have been fantastic. So I was actually going to play 2. The only problem with Far Cry 2 was that you kept on getting malaria, so you had to keep on injecting yourself with like an antidote, which was annoying because there was few and far between. But Far Cry 3 was a sensational game, and it's only after the fact that you think it's open ended. So if they are bringing Vast back, then that would mean all the stuff that we read 10 years ago maybe was kind of true around that time. I'm not going to go into it because there will be people in here that probably never would have played a Far Cry, and this may entice them to go back and play them. But if you haven't, please go back and play the Far Cry games. They are amazing.
Just comment in the chat from David saying that picture looks like it's based on Jason Momoa, which is talking about Vass from Far Cry 3. Just on a quick Google, Far Cry 3 came out in 2012, so it would have been announced pre that in 2011-ish. Jason Momoa first started with any sort of fame in the first season of Game of Thrones, which was 2011. So is Vass based on Jason Momoa, or is Jason Momoa based on Vass? That's the question. They need to stop Far Cries, says Jordan. They are so boring. Franchise is stiller than Happy Shopper Bread. See, we mentioned this. I think when we were playing PUBG on stream the other night, you mentioned that because that's when obviously it was Tuesday night. The news started to come out on Tuesday, so we had a brief chat about it then. And I kind of see that. I know that I've heard a lot of people saying that Far Cry did get stale. Although I did hear a lot of positivity around Far Cry 5. I remember watching, even playing Bardinsky, who doesn't stream too often at all anymore. But even Bardinsky was playing Far Cry 5 on his channel in and amongst some PES stuff. So yeah, I think for me it's kind of there's so many games that even from a Ubisoft perspective. So we saw it with Assassin's Creed, started okay, got really good, then just went monotonous. It became a cash cow that they could just wheel out every 5 minutes. Then it started to pick up again. And Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I mean, at least from the artwork and the trailer direction, looks amazing. So, yeah, I would say it probably has had a bit of a dull period in the middle. It did pick up around 5. What was the one that followed 5 again? Far Cry
New Dawn.
I mean, never played it, so I can't say, and I've not seen anything around it really, to be fair. So yeah, maybe they took the foot off the gas again then. But yeah,
well, I don't think New Dawn was a full game. I think it was like not a prologue. I'm sure it was just like a spin-off. You know, like they did the Wolfenstein with the 2-player thing. I can't remember what that was called. It came out maybe 9 or 10 months ago. I can't remember. It's gone. But I'm sure it was like that. It definitely wasn't a main story. Wasn't a main one in the series. But Far Cry 4 was amazing, man. Like Pagan Min, the protagonist in that. Oh god, he was so good. He was so good.
I will take your word for that.
Yeah. Honestly, like if you can get them cheap enough and you've never played them, play through them. I really need. I mean, I need to take my own advice and play through the 5th one because I still haven't got round to playing that yet. But they are brilliant.
Just gonna look at Michael Mando. I know. Asim's just said that dude was in Better Call Saul, I think. After googling Michael Mando, didn't realise it was him. I know he was in Better Call Saul. He was. This is Michael Mando. Oh, what? That is class. I didn't realise he'd actually. Is that like has someone done that to artwork of him, or is he actually? Oh, no, he has done. Yeah, there's shitloads of pictures of it. As Vast, that's pretty cool. Didn't realise it was him. Do you know what? I know. Even though I've grown up in video games, it's still, as you've just seen, it still kind of surprises me when I see actual actors that I know from TV and stuff appear in video games, even though it's happened a bajillion times now. I'm like, oh wow, he's in video games. It almost feels. I still feel like, I know video games are worldwide now, but I still feel like video games is my private domain because the rest of the world took longer to catch on. So when I see stuff from outside of video games breaking into video games, you saw it then. Oh wow, it's him! Even though
that's just fucking blown my mind.
What?
I was today years old when I found that out.
Found what out about Michael Mando?
Michael Mando, yeah. I didn't know that was him.
You see it, and then you see the Vast character as well. You think, yeah, that's absolutely him. It looks so much like him as well. So yeah, I did not know. Tassim and Via dropping logic bombs like it's 2021. God, Mr. Carlos Powell. Now then, fellas, can you see that, Cal? Can you see that just there? There we go. Let me go.
Hey, Carl.
Where is it? There, look at that. Yeah. So Carlos Powell is the guy that made me my sexy fridge vinyl. So when I play PUBG, we're in the pub with G. What I would do at this point would also be to rotate my chair and show you my T-shirt hanging on the door. But I don't know if you can see that speck there. That speck is where my hanger should be. Because I don't know if you heard it and saw me turn around about 10 minutes ago. My fucking hook fell off the door, so my T-shirt's down here. Ta-da! So yeah, I'll have to hang that back up again. But yeah, thanks, Carl. I'll put it down there. But yeah, that is the end of the news. We'll wrap it up, seeing as it's an extra half an hour on what we usually aim for in the show today. Because, it's a big news day. We did say before we started, there's a lot to cover. We limited it to 4 news articles, but we still got to an hour and a half. So let's start to wrap things up. I'll just make sure there's nothing missing in the chat. They're not bad games. After playing 5, then New Dawn, just no. It was a new Far Cry game. It was set post-apocalyptic. It's like the guy who played Starkiller. As in, when you say Starkiller, are you talking Force Unleashed? Voice Sam Witwer. See, I know his face, but I don't know him. So, if that's who we're talking about. So this guy voiced Starkiller, which was the main character in the Star Wars Force Unleashed games. Riverdale. Okay, yeah, that's why I don't know him. So I know his face, but don't know him. It's a little bit different for me there. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You need to pop up to up your DIY game. Yeah, that's the thing though. It's not full on DIY because I don't like drilling things indoors, and I don't like those hooks that hang over the top. So we bought. They're supposed to be decent. I used to have some more around, but it's one of those 3M command strips that you hang on the door. But it's been there for about a year, so basically I just need to get a new command strip. But I just haven't done that yet because I'm a lazy mofo. So yeah, I need a new sticky sheet to keep my hook on the door. He was in a few films. I don't know him that much. I do know the Michael Mando because Better Call Saul, obviously. Magic Man, mate says ICU is off the hook.
Sake.
But anyway, like I said, yeah, we're going to wrap things up. Distracted by Sam Witwer, Michael Mando, and other bits. We are going to drop off, though. For those of you that missed the news, I'll give you a quick rundown. So PS5 games from Rockstar, Konami, Bethesda, and 2K have been listed on Amazon. They're only holding spaces, so they might not be anything legitimate, so take it with a pinch. But there could be a bunch of games on the way. And we'll find out tonight anyway, 9 o'clock. The PlayStation reveal event will be taking place at 9 o'clock tonight. We will be live from 8:30 tonight to do a live watch-along. So if you want to know, you want to get that news first hand, then feel free to drop in with us then. Following that, we jumped onto news that 80s Sega platformer Alex Kidd is making a comeback with Miracle World DX. Looks pretty good. And then following that, a bunch of sixes. So Battlefield 6 is set to return. Is set even in modern day and current gen versions are going to be feature limited. That's scheduled to be coming out at the end of 2021. And after Battlefield 6, we jump into Far Cry 6, which will be revealed next month, potentially in Ubisoft's Ubisoft Forward conference event stream jobby thing, which we'll probably be watching live on the channel too. But like I said, we are going to end things. We're going to wrap things up. We've been live for a pretty long time. I said we're going to end things. We're going to drop off. I will drop off, get green screened potentially, and jump straight back on with some pub with G. So if you want to jump along, play some PUBG, maybe even jump in some games, then feel free to hang around in the channel. But we are going to drop off. We will be back on for stream 3 though. So this is stream 1, PUBG stream 2, stream 3 tonight, as mentioned, at 9 with the PlayStation Games Reveal event live watch along, the PS5 stuff. So feel free to drop in for that. But before we do disappear, Mr. Edwin van der Sar, Manchester United wearing shirt, goalkeeper job, eh? It's not his United shirt, by the way. Just just in case you didn't get that, it's actually a Had United shirt. But anything you want to add, Bib?
Not anymore. Yeah, of course. If you do see any video game news knocking around the social media platform of your choice, tomorrow may be a very, very bad day for you to be able to provide it to us because there's going to be a lot of fallout from the PlayStation stuff. But anyway, do feel free to get in contact with us. It's at We've Got to Be in Your at Graham_day, and of course that's Ice Cream Uploads. You can do that, give your thoughts and impressions, the link to the article, and we'll give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
10 a.m. ish. Ish. Hey, Madge with the exclamation mark socials. Doing Pirates work because he doesn't do it anymore because he doesn't love us to be here because he's working hard and hardly working. I hope the Heavy Rain peeps show off a PS5 exclusive tonight, says Madge. You never know. Quantic Dream. Have Quantic Dream done anything or announced anything since Detroit Become Human? So yeah, I mean, it could be. I've never played Heavy Rain. I do have it, as well as what was it that followed then?
Beyond
Two Souls. Yeah, and never finished.
Double pack, wasn't it?
Yeah. Got both of them and Detroit, and not played and finished any of them. So yeah. How much will Graham scream if a new Uncharted is announced? Oh, no, I'm going to have to mute my microphone just because I don't want to deafen you all. It'd be like a... and that was it, pretty much. That's pretty much what it'll be. So yeah, there you go. I nearly lost my headset then. Did you see it wobbling off my head? But there we go. Oh, just imagine. I mean... Ned Flanders style. Yeah, it's alright because I'm going to rip off my shirt and be ripped as well, like Ned Flanders is oakley dokley.
It's like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Damn it, stupid sexy Flanders. On that bombshell, we are going to drop off. As mentioned, though, I will jump straight back on with some PUBG. So if you're not doing anything lunchtime and you fancy just playing some games, then feel free to jump in and keep me company while I do my daily missions. I'm particularly looking at Jordan because I need him to carry me because, you know, he's got no plans. He's not allowed to have plans. But whatever. Anyway, have yourselves a fantastic day, ladies and gentlemen. Do whatever you need to do. Get it out of the way and make sure you're back for 9 p.m. tonight for the PlayStation PS5 reveal. Watch along. But until then, babe, what have they got to do?
Stay frosty, shaggers.